Welcome back to the Ride Boundless podcast. On this episode, we speak to the founder of Los Angeles Moto. He is a content creator, motorcycle influencer, and the glue of Los Angeles motorcycle culture. On this episode, we have the one and only Mark Gamo. Here we go. Welcome to the podcast. I see you just rolled up in the GS. How long have you had that?
Yeah, man. Just a few years now. So I've been a big fan of BMW, and GS 1200s they literally rip anyone else's bikes. They can do anything and everything. Not that I'm a big promoter of BMW. I have done a few things with them, but it's my favorite right now.
First of all, you've had a few BMWs.
Yes.
And
they're all GSs.
And they're all GSs.
Yeah.
And what do you mean you've done a few things with BMW?
Well, I don't know if you know, I just did the launch for the R18 Cruisers. I don't know if you've seen the videos.
No. I mean, I've seen the release of the bike, but I haven't
so
seen.
I'm in the video. If you
Oh, really?
Seen
I didn't see it. Yeah.
So
Where can we find the video?
BMW, BMWmotorrad.com, I think is it's everywhere.
Oh,
so
nice.
R18 Cruiser, it's magnificent. It's the BMWs, the Cruisers. It's like if Harley and the if like a Harley
and
Dyna
an R19 would have a baby,
and an R19
if they met at a bar
had a baby, this is what you'd get just from that ride. It's beautiful. So backstory is they gave me a call, I think 2 months ago, saying, hey, I did a photo shoot with their new collection for the apparel line.
Nice.
Just because I thought I was cool and they had some style. So
you're very cool and have lots
thanks,
of style.
man. Yeah, I wish we had a video of like us showing how we look like right now.
That.
Yeah, Roman's been saying that for a
We
little
should
bit.
do that. Like kind of like, yeah. So
They'll be seeing pictures of you as you're dressing right now.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna take them about right after this.
But so they called me. The Germans like my style. They thought it was pretty dead on what they wanted out of the new customers of BMW, right? So it's not so much the older generation. They're trying to do more of like a cusp of, I don't want to say hipster, but hipster and more of like the mid-age people. Right. So
that have money.
Because BMW is kind of
people that have money.
Yeah.
Because the baby boomers are kind of like.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now it's kind of strange because everyone's using kind of like old bikes and vintage bikes to work on a startup, which is great. But BMWs like the R9Ts, the K1600s, BMW GS 1200s, they're pretty pricey,
Yeah.
So
yes and no, because if you compare a full bagger, like a Harley Davidson bagger, and how much you have to customize to it. You have to change the pipes, you have to do this, you have to map it, you got to change the bars. There's so much you got to customize that it's just as expensive. And when you pick up a GS, it's done.
You don't need to do anything about
nothing. And if you do something to it, it's because you're doing it because you want to.
For necessity. You're not gonna put tassels on it or any kind of weird stuff. You might change the foot pegs because you ride standing up a little bit, or change the seats because just the height difference maybe.
You might add $1,000 lights.
You might add $1,000 lights. You might powder coat your engine guard. You might do a bunch
Absolutely.
But that's all decision. But there's certain things with Harley. I don't know if it's peer pressure or it's just something you want to do, but it has everything, but you want to change it all. Like, you don't want to keep the stock grips. You don't want to keep the, stock floorboards or pegs. Like, your influence, first thing you do is you change the pipe. Next thing you do, you change your seat. After that, you change your bars. And it's never ending. So when I look at the overall cost, I think BMW is way, more affordable versus a Harley. Now,
in the long run,
if somebody buys a 10-year-old Harley that's pretty customized and everything, which is the right move, then that's a different story.
What year is your Street Bob?
14.
You also have a Street Bob.
Yeah.
That you still
so I had from Street Bobs to Sportsters to Road Kings so I had different variations of Harley just because I loved it. Growing up with it, I lived in Orange County. that's kind of whether you ride a sport bike or you ride Harleys. That's
What
kind
part
of
of Orange County?
Huntington
Nice.
Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice area.
So
You've always been in California?
yeah.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Philippines, so
Nice.
Filipino.
I know so
100%.
many bad words.
Born there?
I was born, so, little quick tip. I was born in Saudi Arabia. That's where my parents lived and worked for about 10 plus years. And I was born there, but I guess my birth certificate is from Philippines just because I guess you can't get a birthright in Saudi Arabia unless
Arab
you're...
country, yeah.
Yeah,
They're very
so-
strict on that.
But, yeah. So after 3 years, we all moved here and we never left.
Did they get the right date on your birth certificate?
I don't know.
And the reason I
I might be like 20 years old or 40 years old. Who knows, right?
No, the reason I asked that is I was just talking to somebody. They're elder, and they were saying that when they were born, they were waiting for.
Yes.
They were in 40 days.
It
to
takes
be
a
cleansed so that
long
they don't
time, yeah.
get germs. And then when they went to file for their birth certificate, they printed it out on the 40th
That day, the day of when they
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually, my grandma had the same situation. She's born in December 31st, and they screwed up and put her the year after. So she actually has 1 year more than what
Than what she
her
really is.
ID
She's
says. Yeah.
1 year older.
Yeah.
And that's something I've always asked. We're kind of going off topic, but that's something I've always asked for when they celebrate, like somebody's 105 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, how accurate is
What-
their birth certificate? Like,
Oh, you hear those people that's over 100 years old. They're like, we don't know if she's 105, 106. We can't really figure out because there's no real documentation, or if those documentations are actually still existing, like
They need to do a carbon 14 test. Like,
and then-
like
and then if
you
dinosaurs.
just chop the fingers. Like, how many rings are there?
how many rings are that's hilarious. No, it's definitely hard, especially with the histories of wars and
Yeah.
governments and everything changing, and then immigrants coming in. It's almost impossible to keep up.
Absolutely.
But please get back to the BMW. I want to hear more about.
shoot,
so you
yeah.
did the photo shoot.
So we
You got to
did
ride it.
I did the photo shoot. They invited me back again, and I don't know if you guys have been listening or watching the blogs that BMW's come out with since last year. Is with Tommy from Butterscotch. He's been doing you guys got
Yeah, I saw
to
that.
interview him just because he's pretty interesting and also a handsome dude, which you'll appreciate, and he's got class and
We'll have video
style.
by then.
Yeah, we'll definitely have video. But so he's been doing this for a year with BMW, and it's called a Bavarian Soul Story. So BMW, I don't know if you guys know what it stands for, is from Bavarian Motorrad Works or something like that. In German, it's a lot cooler, but
Yeah.
for me, that's what it
in
stands
German
for.
makes sense.
Today's fun fact for the day.
Yeah, fun
Did
fact.
not know that.
Yeah. So we've been doing that, and they invited me. It's like, hey, Mark, do you want to do another shoot? I'm like, sure. It's like, and this is all through text. It's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then
Who were you texting? This is
Mark
through
Boucher.
Instagram. This is just a private text message.
So Mark Boucher is the I guess the head guy of marketing for USA or North America BMW. So we're good friends, and he's the one who's been inviting me to do a lot of this stuff for BMW. And he's like, great. Do you have a passport? I'm like, ... Sure. He's like, all right, we'll put you on.
In how long do you mean? Do we have a passport?
So
In
that
how
was
long?
it. And I was like, maybe he's like 2-3 days later, he's like, I'm going to hit you up with Natalie. She's like the same person of me in Germany. She's going to let you know what's going on. So like, I don't know, for like a full week, I was trying to figure out like, where's this shoot? Why are they asking me if I have a passport, and where am I going and for how long? So finally, Natalie hits me up and she's like, hey, we're going to South Africa. We're going to shoot this, the production for R18, and you're one of the 6. I'm like, great. It's like,
Fuck, that's awesome.
for how long? She's like, oh, it's a 5-day shoot. I'm like, okay, cool.
Even more awesome.
But you'll be there for 2 weeks, It's like,
Right.
because of the flight, the flight days, it's like 2 days to get there and 2 days back, and
Jet
prepping
lag,
and jet lag.
yeah.
So they gave us an ample time to kind of like get situated with the new country, I guess. So I was on board, and there was like,
What part of Africa?
South Africa.
South Africa.
Which was my third. That was my third time being there, which was kind of funny because last time I was there was about 7 years ago to that date. I was like, holy crap! Like I'm going back because I'd had this like love for it. South Africa just kind of gave that very earthy, soul like searching kind of like atmosphere. So we did the Big Five adventures. We surfed.
What's
Joburg.
the Big Five? Can you describe that for the listeners?
It's like a safari. So the Big Five, they
that's
call it the Big
crazy.
Five is like the Big Five animals. It's just like lions, elephants, giraffe, I think hippopotamus and caribou or something like that. So we did the safari there, and you were like 10 feet away from like a family of lions, and I think they feed them early
How
on.
scary is that? I mean, is there a moment you're just shitting you want to like
Oh yeah.
gases are coming out, you don't even know what's happening?
Well, because there's no like you're on this like big truck. It's like I think it's like a Unimog, right? Which is like
but they're open, right?
they're open, so they can literally. I've seen videos
I
of,
see, yeah,
of,
that's what
of
I'm talking
animals attack.
I seen videos. They just roll in the vehicle, and you
Yeah.
gotta just stay still.
Stay still, and you can
And they sense everything. They're gonna tear your face off.
absolutely.
I mean, I haven't seen many videos of them tearing faces.
Well, I was
but
so close. We're so close to them. You can actually feel their breath, and they're really, it's like it's just a big vibration of like just them breathing, and they see you. You can sense in their eyes, like, yeah, you're there. Like, but we're not going to do anything because we're probably full or we're lazy and it's too hot. But split second, they could be tearing you apart.
Absolutely. Do you think they? I mean, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you think they take a route and there's a dude that goes before them and just feeds them like a bunch of steaks, like so when people cruise by, they don't have issues? Because that's such a big risk. And why wouldn't they cover those buses or?
Yeah. So I think they know what the animals are going to do, right? So probably in the morning they prep all the animals because it's not like a zoo where it's caged. I think it's a big, it's a big area for them to just roam around. And so they know where to go. It's like, okay, it's around 10 a.m. So the elephants are going to go to the pond and start drinking or bathing and all that stuff. So they know the route.
They know the schedule.
They know the schedule.
The animals, I'm sure, are consistent with their daily routine.
But
with their eating people.
But that was actually one of my on my bucket list is to do a big safari, tour. I guess the next one is like do a big safari hunt, maybe with like 12 gauge shotguns or whatever.
Yeah,
From your GS.
From my
Shoot
GS.
from the, like Terminator
That
style.
should be the next content,
Yeah, I'm sure.
We
They'll,
should do
they'll
that.
love it. I'm sure.
and then we'll figure out the zombie apocalypse one.
I know. I'm surprised no one's doing any content about zombie apocalypse, like what to do when it comes to like.
There's a few websites. If you search, it's a rabbit
I haven't
hole
searched
of-
deep enough in the dark
there's
web.
even tests that you can do where it starts asking you calibers.
Reddit is pretty full
You'll
of that.
survive.
Yeah.
Okay, so BMW, South Africa.
R18, they released it finally. It took them.
And how long ago was this? This is like
This was last month. So we shot in South Africa the end of February. They had a month of post to do it. And they were supposed to release the bikes at the Hand Built Show in Austin, Texas, April 3rd and 4th. But since we're at this kind of, containment COVID-19 thing, everything, all the shows were, canceled. So they just had to do an online, like a web release.
Right.
But
Yeah, I saw
they
that
were going to bring
promotion.
the bikes there, and there's 6 bikes that's actually touring right now. So you've seen 3 of them, right? You see the classics, which doesn't have the baggers, and the next 3, which is going to be released in May. That's when I come out with Drew from House of Machines and Edgar, who's the main guy, the main designer for BMW. We're rolling on baggers. So this is like episode 10, I think, of BMW. And so you get to see a lot more variations of what you can do with the bike, and I'm really excited to see that.
And tell us about the ride and the performance. Did you go off road or regular road?
No, so it was so secretive, and it was so like.
I mean, can you even talk about this?
Yeah, it's out now. So there's we had 5 days of shooting, and we had a crew of like the biggest shoot was like we had a crew of 90 people. So we had to like close down streets, make sure everything's like, because we had to sign paperworks and like make sure, we did NDAs and all that stuff. And you had like five guys.
You can't get sued.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you had five guys whose main job was to protect the bikes. They're not protecting you. They're protecting the bikes because that's the only one, So they were so delicate with the bikes. You couldn't really do much about it just because, if we crash one, that's it. And it's on you. So we just did pavement and we did shots. We rode for the entire whole time about 200 kilometers. So that's a lot of miles or a lot of kilometers that we
it's about
get to test it.
135 miles or something like that.
But yeah, it was just a lot of road, which is not bad, but it just rides so beautifully.
Any of these inside of a city or something like that?
What's that?
Any city riding?
Any scenes are...
So we had 3 different locations in the city, in the desert, which is amazing, and then also by the coast.
And weird, because I don't know if those... your initial thought will be that those bikes are not meant for the desert. You would think, because they're not like the GSs are more desert.
Right, but you were on there still.
We're on the pavement, so just to change up the landscape, the scenery. So
we're kind of like
we're telling this story.
Long rides thing.
Yeah, in the video, it's supposed to look like we've ridden hundreds and hundreds of miles or kilometers, which we did, but different takes in here and there. But the bikes are heavy, just like any cruisers out there. But as soon as you're starting to go, it's like a boat. It's so nice and just really solid.
What is any bike that you've ridden before that you reminded you to?
What would you compare it to?
It reminds me of the Harley Davidson Road King.
Yeah,
definitely, just by far. So my bike that they gave me was a bagger. So it had soft cases. It had the beach bar, so it was super wide, and like the engine is as wide as the beach bars, right?
Yeah.
So you had to like rock it to turn, So it was funny because I think I was the only one out of the group that had some experience on bigger bikes. Most of them were like cafe racers, R9Ts, even a GS, but no one really had the cruiser experience. And so I felt really comfortable with it, and they saw that, and so they put me up front and just did a lot of different types of like maneuvering. But I mean I'm not that tall either. I'm 5'10". It's really low to the ground from someone who's like 5'7", 5'6", who's like we had 2 girls that was riding the R18. They had no troubles with it. And then we had a guy who was like 6'2", which was Alan from Handbuilt, and he looked freaking cool with it,
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting. I always, recommend people that want to get into baggers. They're kind of scared of the weight.
Yeah.
And what I tell them is once you start rolling, that bike doesn't want to drop. That bike wants to stay up. That thing wants to handle. I did my DMV test on a street glide, and the reason I did it on a street glide is because this guy says, I'll let you use my scooter if you bring me a 6-pack of beer. I said, all right, cool. My test is next Wednesday. And it was in the morning. He never responded. And I had my street glide, so I said, fuck it. I have no other choice. And when people see this bike, the DMV lady looked at me and she goes, are you fucking kidding? You're going to do it on that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't have a choice. Security's like, you're going to do it on that? And I'm like, yeah. And then this other DMV lady looks at me and she says, there's guys that are 6 foot with beards, tatted, straight out bikers that come in scooters.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to try this? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I want to try this. And what people don't understand is they're better balanced. I could totally do that fucking circle 100 times easier than an FXDLS, like a Dyna or a Softail. It's just a turning radius. That's why you see all that cool shit that the cops are doing.
Absolutely.
They're so well balanced. Once you're on there, they don't want to fucking fall.
Have you taken one of those courses?
I've never
There's
taken the
one
courses.
in Carson, I believe, and it opens up your eyes with like how to maneuver big bikes and pretty much just your weight distribution, right? Because it's all about that. And so Yeah, it's
And little tips like I messed around with CHP. There's a tip that like when you're doing that sharp turn, if you hold your back brake,
yes,
it stands it up.
yes,
And you zero effort to
Yes.
do those turns.
Yeah.
Zero. And that kind of practice. I got invited to a CHP class. I couldn't make it, and I fucking regret it till this day.
Well, that's a good tip, a little pro tip, and especially when you're, let's say you're splitting lanes, right? And it's everyone's on a dead stop, and you're kind of trying to get up to the light. You don't use your front brakes; you use your back brakes because it has more counterbalance with the bike. And so, same thing with maneuvering those big bikes. Like we were sometimes on dirt and tarmac to dirt. Like you don't use the front brakes, or you'll stop your front brakes and you'll just fall over. You use your back brakes, but yeah, that's a good.
Well, and vice versa. When you're in the road and you're riding fast and you're riding hard and riding long, 70% of your braking should be your front brake in that situation. But when you're maneuvering or when you're in dirt, it should be your back brake. That's why the GSs have that little extension, so you always have access. That's why you see people usually standing up. You know.
Well, so when we did that shoot, before we can even get on the R18, they gave us a little quick tutorial. So this was a cool day for us. We weren't shooting at all. It was just like a kind of like a quick tutorial of if you can ride the motorcycle. And we're like making fun of the whole thing. Because like, dude, you flew us thousands of miles, and you're trying to see if we can actually ride right now. Like we're already here, Like
it will be inconvenient that you don't.
Yeah. So they gave us. We were in it's called Franschhoek. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like the winery of South Africa, and I've been there. And so we went to this winery, and this guy owns it. I think he's like the third richest South African in the country, and he has like this private track in the back of his like winery, and it was gorgeous. So no one gets to like ride there. It's always just his personal thing. And he did it for BMW because it's BMW. And so they put us on like GS 1250s. And, we get to ride on the track, and we did some kind of like some tutorial with like this instructor that was there. But that was probably one of the funnest days that we'd had, just because we just got to ride,
Yeah, you didn't have to stay still for the shot or the video. You just got to do whatever and enjoy
be
the ride.
careful with the bikes, because you were like handling like research cargo basically all day.
Yeah,
long.
and that's how I felt the first time. Was like, you can't drop the bike. We can't do anything about this. And I'll be the first person to say,
don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
I've dropped more bikes standing still or trying to like put the side stand up than anything else. I've dropped more bikes than crashing at all, actually. So I was very scared for myself. I'm like, I'm more comfortable riding than like being like just sitting on a bike.
Staying still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that experience when I used to live in San Francisco, and you just ride those fucking mountains.
Yeah.
But when you get to that red light,
and it's like incline.
It's fucked up. And now, like the GS has that hill stop, but that didn't exist.
Hill assist.
That shit didn't exist fucking,
No.
8 years ago, 9 years ago. And when you did that, you had to like hold your front brake, and then usually you have your right foot down, but now you have your left foot down because you got to use the.
You're trying to figure it out before you even stop. Like, what do I do?
All this in
Left
San
foot,
Francisco
right foot?
in a 45-degree incline.
Yeah.
Well, after a while, I learned like, I used to ride in San Francisco a lot. I just go all the way to the top. And like, I don't care. Like, I'll split the lanes rather than like, hold myself.
There's some that it's right there. If you go all the way on top, you're in the middle of traffic.
Oh, that's what I would do. I wouldn't care, because I've saw it so many times, and like people are trying to like force me to move. I'm like,
last time we went to San Francisco, what is hitting really hard there is the supermoto stuff. Everybody's riding
that's what I've been
supermoto.
hearing.
And they stop in a 45-degree angle, which is amazing. Because you see them going up, and when they have to stop in the incline, they stop at 45 degrees. And with the supermoto, they just turn they basically slide the back wheel, and they go forward.
Do you have any experience on supermotos?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Another class what everyone should be taking is a SoCal Supermoto. That's up in Riverside. Gives you a lot of technique.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that for the last year.
Should do that.
All right, we'll probably.
There's a few of us that wants to do it as a group. It's cool. Like, I ride different types of bikes, and that's because I have fun with any bike. I don't have a specific type. Which there's still people out there that's like, no, dude, I'm full on Harley, or I'm full on Yamaha, and it's fine, but it's like you're missing out on everything else.
I think that has an expiration date also.
You think
when
so?
you are full on something, unless you refuse to try anything else,
No,
it can't
There's
happen.
guys like that.
I totally doubt that. I think it's the whole. I call it the Buick kind of experience. Everybody that buys a Buick, their next car is another Buick. Like right now, there's
Are
people,
Buicks still around?
No, now they don't even exist. No. But it was one of the most loyalist clients, and that's what kept them afloat.
Sometimes it makes me doubt if we're the same age, man.
Yeah,
I know. We're talking about 1970s.
Yeah. No,
Robert, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 27.
Yeah, are you sure your birth certificate's
Absolutely. I don't know when they made my birth certificate.
It's in
guys.
Cuba.
It's so
Nobody
fucking
trusts
weird.
that.
No, but Buick is one of those cars that when they were out, it was the most loyal client.
It's brand loyalty, yeah.
And Harley has that. And all respect for fucking Harley, because people always want, what does everybody do? They get a Sportster. Mm-hmm. Then they get a Dyna or a Softail, depending on your preference. And then you get your bagger. Mm-hmm. And then you start customizing. You invest so much money into it that you don't pass that. People don't. Not everybody does it.
I get it. I mean, so you ask a person that's diehard Harley, like why they love Harleys, right? And they just, you never get the same answer, but the underlying reason is it's the community.
It's a lifestyle.
And the looks.
It's a lifestyle. It's a look.
It's the lifestyle, 100%.
And I make fun of them all the time just because I'm one of them. Like we all ride Harleys, and when I ride a Harley, I don't dress the same way as if I'm riding a BMW or Ducati. You kind of like start dressing like a biker.
I got two closets, one dedicated for my Harley gear, I swear to God,
yeah.
And another one just for the BMW stuff, and then another one just for my daily routine. I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
I got to figure out, I got to schedule what I'm riding the next day, or I'll be stuck in front of two closets.
Well, it's funny because it gives you a reason not to be super techie with your gear, right? Because Harley's like, oh man, I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt. It's so nice outside, and I'm gonna wear my open face lid. And it's like you have no protection because you're not really doing technical riding with it. You're just cruising.
Right.
So
it gives you that cruising.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of lifestyle.
The way I see it, and lately it's been more clear to me. There's kind of two kinds of people: people who likes Harleys and people who likes motorcycles.
Yeah,
because people who like Harleys and are like so in love, they like only Harleys. They see you in a BMW and they're like, that's not a real bike. Yeah, and you're like, well, and there's the people that like motorcycles, they like Harleys and every other motorcycle.
I think you're right on a point where it comes from someone that doesn't ride motorcycles, right? Like you come to a stop and like person on the side of the road is like, is that a Harley?
Well,
like,
people
yes.
that don't ride.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll say, it's like, they'll ask you, is that a Harley? I'm like, no. It's like, oh, so what is it?
Right.
Like they don't know anything else. They won't say, it's like, is that a BMW or is that a Yamaha 10-rate? No, like they don't know.
Or a Triumph or whatever the case is. And the reason I disagree with your point is because I got neighbors that ride GSs, and when I used to roll up with my Dyna Lowrider, they'd be like, what the fuck are you riding, man? Get rid of that thing.
I think it's more of a, it's like, dude.
So they're anti.
Throw that away, yeah, because it's.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's not other people around like Harley riders that would only ride one other thing, but right now I'm meeting a lot of new people that also ride Harleys, BMWs, cafe racers, anything that you throw at them. But I do know a lot of people that you say, hey, you want to try my Triumph? And they're like, fuck that. This is not a Harley. It's not a real bike. And you're like, fuck you, bro. Yeah. What are you talking about? You've never even tried it. What are you, it's super fun.
They don't know what they're saying. But I think, to add to your point, is I think that's this newer generation that we're not committed to one brand. We like, we all have BMWs. We all have Harleys.
Well, it's a company that you keep as well. Like you don't stick to one group of guys that rides the same types of motorcycles too. So you get introduced to we're in LA, so I think it's a lot easier for us to discover new bikes. you know, as opposed to Middle America and it's like Harleys or, you know, sport bikes or whatever. It's very segregated. Here, it's like, oh, you know, I bought a Royal Enfield because that's, you know, I think it's cool. It's affordable, and you know, I'm just riding to coffee shops.
Yeah,
and you appreciate it,
and it's worth it,
and it's worth it.
A Royal Enfield is pretty affordable for what you get,
for what it is, and it's like, yes, you know, it doesn't have a lot of bang to the motor, but it's kind of like, what are you really gonna use it for? If it's like it's just a cruiser and just, you know, going around town,
yeah.
It's better than a Vespa, I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, there's hardcore Vespa riders.
I mean,
hardcore Vespa riders.
I had a Metro. I used to use like a Metropolitan 150 that I used to use to put my surfboard and like just roll down the beach and go surfing, because it was the best thing for parking. And you can park it anywhere, and it was easy to just drop anywhere.
What part of LA do you live in?
LA?
Yeah, where do you live?
Westwood.
Okay.
Yeah, Santa Monica. But you know, growing up, I was in Huntington, so I don't really surf in LA just because it's just like such a pain to like find parking, you know.
Not anymore with this COVID-19. You
I
got
know.
all the parking in the world, and the water
I know, well,
was
it's blocked
clear,
off, and you can
but
get a ticket though, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's funny with this whole virus thing. It's like being outdoors. I feel like it's the best thing you can do. Yes, you know, being in confined like buildings, probably not a good idea. But let's say like you're going hiking or you're going to the park, and you're not 5 feet close to anybody, right? So it was like, I don't know, but I get it. It's like
they're saying this is going to last now, 18 months to 2 years?
I would think so.
Yeah, social distancing.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my father the other day, and he brought up a good point. He's like, "Well, are you comfortable now going to the movie theaters, even if they open?"
That was
and
my
I'm like, shit, no.
That was my concern. Is like, so you know, let's say we can do our normal routines, right? All the shows and all the events starts popping up again, and like, all right, we're on, like the handbill is on or whatever. It's like, would you want to go and be surrounded by tons of people, or is it gonna fuck with your
11
psyche?
p.m. House of Machines packed of people. There's
Yeah.
no way I'm walking in there.
I'm telling you, I watch movies now.
No
and I
way.
see those events. Yeah, exactly. I'm watching movies right now, and I see what they're doing, where they're touching their faces and shaking hands. And I'm like, oh, don't do it. Stop. What are you doing? Coronavirus. You know, it's scary, and it's brain fucking us.
Yeah.
And right now, we're what? They're going to extend this to May 15th, and they're probably going to continue extending it. But
Yeah.
I heard they're going to be
I
doing
feel like
social
it's the end
distancing
of handshaking. Like you don't handshake
Well,
anymore. You do fist bumps or elbow bumps or
Well, I
what.
always did fist bumps because people's hands are fucking dirty. You know, like
I get it.
I seen dudes walk out of
Yeah,
the
but
bathroom all the time. They don't clean their
To
hands.
your friends, you hug them. Which
Yeah,
is
you
like
do bro hugs, bro.
fucking
I would
crazy.
rather do a bro hug than shake one of my friend's hands. Yo, come here, man.
Yeah.
I don't know where your hand's been.
But we're not the friends. Come here, I
Come
said.
here, man. Exactly.
I just feel like the whole structure of society is going to change with this whole,
You don't think it'll go back to normal?
it's not for a long time.
So you think that our mask and our hand sanitizer is coming right on time?
Well, you know,
We're not
it's
too
funny
late.
because the more and more I come out, there's a lot more people wearing their mask.
Well, yeah, right now, as in today, Wednesday.
Oh, is it a mandatory
is
thing?
mandatory thing.
Well,
If
Friday it was mandatory.
no, Friday it was recommended. Wednesday is the legislation that
understood.
you get a
Friday.
ticket if you don't wear
So
it.
it's like a martial law. So if they see you walking around with no mask,
And you're fucked.
It's such a fucking trip, man. Because I was going by Marina Del Rey, and I saw some guys in like a classic lowrider, beautiful fucking lowrider, wearing bandanas. And obviously they're wearing their bandanas because they want to wear their bandanas, but they're getting away with it because of the whole COVID-19.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. You go to the bank, everybody's wearing masks.
Yeah.
What the
Let's
fuck?
just rob the
Imagine
place,
It's a
the
bro.
robbery.
perfect time to like
Perfect for
set
a
up
robbery.
Yeah, he had a mask. Oh shit. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
He was
I
being
wear
legal. He was
I
being
wear my
safe.
helmet just into
Just
into
stores.
markets.
I didn't do that. I know a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
But now I didn't like doing it because I felt like, I don't know, I felt weird.
It felt weird. It felt weird even before, and they would like people would just look at you. And
Yeah,
it's like,
you're
right.
a delivery guy.
you know,
What's
and
going on?
you lift up the helmet and you wear it on your head just because you don't want to carry it around, and like, you know, people are like, "Oh, nice hat, brother," and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, shut up. Like, just
mind your fucking business.
mind your
bro.
fucking business.
I'm a
biker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick
And
your
I'm
ass.
not dressing enough for you to know. For you to know.
Can't you see my leathers right now, bro?
You don't even know. You don't even know. Yeah.
So talking about events and stuff, what do you do?
Yeah,
What
how
do
would you describe yourself?
Yeah, who
What
am
do you
I?
do? Who
Well,
the fuck are you?
Don't cry, but who are you?
My name is Mark Gamo, and I've been doing events in LA for almost a decade now, I think. And so I kind of rose
What
up
kind
into
of
the
events?
like secret orgy events, it's
Nice.
like biker stuff. Dudes only.
Oh, God.
Whoa!
Dudes only.
Then thank you for being on the right balance podcast. We'll cut it there.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
Subscribe now to my website. No, so I've done these events because the reason was back then there's really no hangouts to call your own. Like, the coffee shops, cafes weren't really popular like 10 years ago, right? So you don't really go anywhere unless you have your biker friends. So once the biker scene started happening in LA, with Deus Ex Machina, I think that was a real like turn for everyone to have a place to hang out as bikers. Kind of made it special because all the friends that you would hang out with by yourself, now you get to meet other groups and other pockets of people. And so I thought that was cool, and I would always be at these events. And so after a while, I would see other people. You could totally tell when it's their first time being at an event, right? And it's like, how that felt, because I've felt that way before. It's like, you don't know anybody. You've been riding whether you've been riding for 6 months or all your life, but still, it doesn't matter. You don't know anybody. It's at a biker event, and you feel like you're out of place. And so I wanted those people to, and you start talking to anybody, and bikers are usually cool, and they're not as weird as normal folks, but
Yeah, and if they're there, they're used to it.
and and you have a like-minded kind of like mentality, so you're not an asshole most of the time. I mean,
At least in public.
And everybody wants to meet more people anyway.
everybody
That's the
wants
whole
to
reason
belong.
we're there. Yeah.
It's weird because when you're a rider, you can't really talk to anybody that doesn't ride, because they don't get it. So
And they don't want to listen to you talking about motorcycles the whole time.
talking about exhaust pipes and bars and why do you change your parts? Like, don't they work? It's like, yeah, but
You're like, game over. This done.
it's like, go away.
Or the real dumb shit when you talk to people that are not bikers. It's fucking dangerous. Oh my
Yeah.
God, people die on motorcycles.
One of my friends had an accident.
Yeah, one of my friend's cousin's sister's uncles had an accident. It wasn't a motorcycle, but it was kind of like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And he died, But you hear stupid shit. And do you really know somebody that's died on a motorcycle? No. But there is those cases.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't deter us, because if it
But
did,
I want to add a very important, I'm sorry. Yeah. I want to add a very important point to that. We all know people that died on motorcycles, but I will stand by because I've sold thousands of bikes. Well, not thousands, but hundreds of bikes. And I've done it in all over California. And I will stick to this. 90% of motorcycle accidents are rider error. I strongly believe that. And I'll give you two examples. I give you a million examples, but I'll give you two examples. One guy came into my dealer one time, back in the days, in crutches. I'm like, what the fuck happened to you?
Jeez.
He goes, I'm going down Van Nuys Boulevard, and this asshole makes a left right in front of me, and I crash, right? We used to service the police bikes in Van Nuys. Hey, what happened to so-and-so? Well, he was going 60 miles an hour on Van Nuys Boulevard.
Yeah.
And the car that made the left never thought. That's the number one accident. The second accident is on turns. I know another guy on a wheelchair. What happened to you? Some truck cut me off. So then I cut him off and gave him the finger, and that fucking asshole hit me. I strongly believe that. I do, and I have seen two of many accidents that it wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
But I do believe it's 90% rider error.
I mean, they teach you that, on MSF courses. It's like you can either avoid, situations like that, and that's why you either get away from it and you speed off, or you slow down. You don't want to get into a conversation with a person in a car and you're in a motorcycle. It's not like the Sons of Anarchy where you're chasing a car and they don't just like bump you over, because that's
Right.
That's
Or
what
push the
you would
brakes,
normally do. Yeah.
or-
Like, say, it's not a movie, but I think number one, people should take classes, whether they've been riding for decades or they've been riding for 10 months. And you shouldn't stop. You shouldn't just like, I know everything already. Like you don't. You don't.
We don't.
So, I'm always a big promoter of any of these classes, like, California Superbikes to, SoCal Supermoto to even like these CHP classes where they teach you how to maneuver, or just like thinking like a motorcyclist, because now you have like that sixth sense. It's like, oh, this guy, you can tell from this guy swerving in front of me, he's not paying attention. What do I do? Like, do you either slow down or you pass them? You don't just sit there and try to like shake your fist and say, hey, you're not driving right.
Yeah.
Don't do that
because they're not paying attention.
Well, they're not even going to care.
There's two things also. We organize rides, and a lot of people show up, and there's more danger in somebody that thinks that know how to ride and they don't, because they haven't taken courses, they haven't been riding with somebody that has the balls to tell them you're doing it wrong, than people that, maybe us that are doing what you're saying, looking at every single mirror to see if the person is on their phones or, they're not paying attention. Yeah. And then the second point is, you're saying that 90% of the accidents are caused by
rider error,
right? I think the 90% of the motorcycle accidents don't even get reported.
Oh, yeah.
Because we fall, and unless you're hurt or your bike doesn't run, we don't even report it.
But that's still,
well, even so, even if it was the driver's fault, they're
still going to favor the bike.
Well, most bikers don't think like they should get a personal injury attorney, which is I would highly recommend it. Whether you think it's your fault or not, get someone who can talk lingo with like the insurance companies, because you know how insurance. I don't know if you've been in a motorcycle accident and you try to do it on your own. They're so nice, right? Like, let's say the other guy's insurance.
They're going to fuck you.
Because they're trying to fuck you. It's like, oh man, like I remember my first crash, they gave me I was like 18 years old and they gave me a $50 check. I was like, really? And my damage was like $1,500, it was like, it was a lot. And they're like, yeah, we're so sorry for your accident. We're going to compensate you for $50. And I'm like, sweet. And I wasn't really thinking, I'm like, I could have gotten more.
I'm going to tell you.
My dad was so pissed. He's like, what? You're taking he's like, did you already cash? I'm like, yeah, I bought I fucked up.
You fucked up. I'm going to give you two examples that I really want people to pay attention to. A quick one is a good buddy of ours, he had a serious accident, and I don't want to get too much into details, but long story short, as we're going through the hospital, as we're going through this process, we got him the attorneys, we did everything we could for him, and he's being well taken care of.
Yeah.
But there was one point that he would look at me and he would say, Robert, thank you. Jaime, thank you. Because I totally would have settled for like 50 grand. Yeah. And all I wanted to do was just go back to work.
Yeah.
And his situation's so more, now he's being taken care of. So that's number one if you don't get an attorney. Number two, the reason I got this mindset, this happened to me 10, 11 years ago. I knew somebody that had a case, and it was a sexual harassment case versus this company. Long story short, they settled. A year later, this is when people used to buy phones and cell phones, the little side hustle and stuff, when people, before the companies offered financing.
Uh-huh.
So I had I had an iPhone, I don't know what it was, or whatever phone it was, and I posted it. And I meet this guy in Beverly Hills. He's like, hey, I want to buy the phone. I'll meet you at Sprint, blah, 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 blah. I said, cool. So I'm calling Sprint, and he's like, once we activate it to my account, I'll give you the money. I said, cool. So I call customer care. I'm taking the ESN off my name, and they're verifying my name, and I'm like Robert Valderrama. And this guy looks at me, and he's like, oh. And then I look at him like, I'm not who you think I am. He goes, no, I know you. And I'm like, bro, I'm not related to Wilmer Valderrama, He's like, I don't know who that is. He's an older guy, right? So anyways, I hang up the phone, and he's like, so-and-so, right? And I'm like, yeah. And you got a son named so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah. Creepy. Who the fuck are you? He goes, I was the defending attorney for that, a harassment case. And I was like, whoa, okay, well, whatever. Here's the phone. Give me my money. And he looked at me and he says, that person could have settled. That person could have got so much more money. And I can't believe what they settled for.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, wow. Like I still get goosebumps. That's when I go like these law firms and not the law firms, but these insurance companies in these cases, they're just protecting their own, and they're going to present you whatever they can. And too many people settle.
Absolutely.
Get a fucking attorney, guys.
Get an attorney. It doesn't matter. I mean, most people think it's going to cost them a lot, which it doesn't.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Anything. Because once you settle, that's when they'll take their cut. And at the same time, they think it's the rider's fault or it's your fault. So I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to show that I have a bad record. I have parking tickets. I have traffic tickets. None of that matters, bro. Like whether you're even like you have a misdemeanor or warrant, like
doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't matter. It's all about the insurance. So it's like I would definitely highly recommend to get your attorney and get a good one. So it's not just,
and do your research. You don't have to commit to one. You could change your attorney. Look at his reviews.
Well, it's funny because there's some motorcycle attorneys out there, and we all know them, right? And I'm good friends with them. It's like. That's great, but you got to do your due diligence and find an attorney that speaks for you. Because think about it, it's not just your case. That person or that firm is probably handling hundreds of cases, right? So you got to know like who's going to be the one who's going to take care of you in the long run.
Contact, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got into insurances, but
get insurance, get an attorney, and last thing I'm going to add to that. Guys, up your insurance.
Uninsured.
Uninsured motorist.
That's number one.
If you're riding without uninsured motorist, go fuck yourself. Like, really, go fuck yourself. Get uninsured motorist. I'm not fucking around.
Well,
on top of that, for $100 more a year, you can get so much more than the minimum coverage.
You got to tell these guys why they should get uninsured motorist.
Well, yeah,
coverage
that's a good point. Uninsured motorist is if you get into an accident and the person that you get in an accident with doesn't have insurance,
or their coverage is
low, or doesn't cover enough, your uninsured motorist will cover the difference. It's almost. Does this make sense? It's almost like a gap insurance. Whatever your insurance doesn't cover, the other part has. But if you don't have uninsured motorist and you get into an accident with somebody that doesn't have enough coverage or doesn't have coverage, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're completely fucked.
I've seen it happen.
It's $55. It's $100. Fuck it. If it's $300 more a year, it's so worth it.
It's the number one thing you should be aware of is that insurance is just because I've seen it happen with multiple guys. It's like, oh yeah, the guy that crashed into me didn't have insurance, or the guy in front of me had only $15,000, coverage. It's like, what are you gonna do for $15 or $15,000? It's like after your medicals and you pay your lawyers, what do you get? $1,000 and a thumbs up. Like go stick that up your ass. Yeah,
nothing compared to what you lost in gear and helmets and gloves and motorcycle and time and work.
So you were talking about your beginnings.
Oh yeah.
Before we go into
this was brought to you by the law offices. I'm kidding.
I know. Sponsored by you guys should get sponsored. I don't know if that's
we actually have a few sponsors.
Oh, good.
Available, but we're trying to still build up and get out there and get the message. But we probably should.
Yeah. So at this point, you just insert the name.
Yeah.
Within. It's like okay.
Exactly. Call out. Shout out to.
Yeah. A little shout out.
Shout out.
So you were started in LA, basically like a motorcycle culture.
So I had a partner back then, and we built the website, we did the Instagram, and
Los Angeles Moto.
Los Angeles Moto is the handle, Instagram handle. So go follow that. It just brings a lot of the events out there to highlight it, and just so you can pick and choose. So it's not like, like some people like, well, I ride a CBR, can I still go to this? I'm like, just go, dude. Like it's all right.
It's welcoming for anybody.
It's welcoming. But if you really need to go to a certain type of event, there's enough choices out there, from Harley guys to sport bike guys to even like you said, like the mopeds and those types
Vespas.
The Ruckus.
There's a lot of those guys that's kind of infiltrating the culture, just because with those types of motorcycles or scooters, you can accessorize, and it's super cheap compared to regular bikes. Affordable. So I started that, and it just kind of blew up. And
you're what year? How many years have you done this now?
This is the 8th year. So
So you put some work,
Congratulations.
some hours into all this.
yeah, so it was kind of my side hustle, talking about side hustle, because my main reason was I was meeting a lot of people that wasn't in the community or in the know of like next event is this, and that back then there was really like Instagram was starting up, it was kind of new. We only had Facebook, and even Facebook back then didn't have the events calendar, right, or events
Right.
posting. So you didn't really know where to go unless you knew somebody that was going to have an event. And I was that guy. I was like, so after,
Paper flyers.
yeah,
you
like
know,
Thursdays and Fridays, I would get texts and it's like, hey, is there a ride this weekend? Who's having a party and all that stuff. So I'm like, why don't I just post it on this, platform, which is Instagram or Facebook. And so that's when we started doing that. And I don't know, I just kind of been do that on the side ever since.
So yeah, so the way I see it, and I've only been in LA for the last 3 years, is, and this is my take on seeing your work from outside. There's a lot of groups right now in LA of motorcycles, pretty specific. Some of them, the Liras, only girls go to that.
Yeah.
Us, Los Pepes.
Yes.
People that other group of riders that organize the Vintage Classic Motorcycle Club.
BBMC guys in Venice. From Pasadena MC. They got
and I
their own
think your
rides.
Instagram basically brings all the events together.
Yeah.
And brings
Yeah, we're
all
not
those
biased.
people
Like,
together.
if you send us we're not charging anything to post. We just, because I have a real day job. So it's like, I'm not like an influencer where, okay, give me $50 and I'll post your.
So how do you monetize this?
Well, we started doing shirts back then and stickers and just kind of like paraphernalia stuff. And then, which kind of got really tough to do with my day job. And so we kind of slowed that down, and we did sponsorships. And so right now we kind of slowed down, and then now we're going back into that just because, hey, there's nothing to do. We're stuck at home and so I'm rebuilding the website. I'm trying to put a few things together with other businesses. So expect the website to be back up, 100% running by the end of June, I would suppose. So we're going to do a lot of things. I just actually spoke to one of my good buddies, Austin from Twisted Road, yesterday, and he's coming up with a lot of cool things. And I don't know if you know Twisted Road.
Yeah,
It's a rental program for bikers. So it's not so much like
Turo for motorcycles.
Exactly. So it's Turo for motorcycles, and it's cool. Like, I've tried it, and I have a couple bikes on the website to rent out. So it's cool. But he's doing a lot of things nationally, and he wants to work with me and to put that into the website, which I'm thinking about doing as well. So, I don't know, to monetize it. I've just done a lot of freebies, some sponsorships here and there. But pretty much it's like a passion piece for me.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see the future of this? What's the idea for the 10-year anniversary, hypothetically?
I know. Well, the future was it just to really be the forefront of motorcycle kind of like awareness. So in the beginning, I wanted to promote a lot of motorcycle like classes, because I thought that was, speaking of like accidents and all that stuff, like rider error. I mean, you can definitely learn a lot from these classes, just because, I think most of us learn from like friends in the beginning, right? Like, no one's like, I'm going to sign up for a MSF course and I'm going to learn how to ride. And it's like, it's not cool to learn that way. Like, I feel like most of us are introduced to motorcycles. We don't just like wake up and like, I think I'm going to put a 1200 cc in between my legs and go for a ride, like it's kind of,
or family,
you discover it, or family.
Or
So I was going to do that for the website. I was going to make it, national. So with my partner back then, we were going to make it like, coast to coast. So he was going to do New York, I'm going to do LA, and we're going to try to tie things together, just because we know a lot of, groups and businesses throughout the country. So we're going to put everything all in one website and make it kind of like the motorcycle hub for everything and anything. So, but But it's one man. It's a one man team right as of right now, and I'm trying to get more people involved. But they have to like it for what it is, and they have
Well,
to.
they got to know what it is.
And
you got to
it's
get
like
the message more out there.
And I feel like most people that want to work with me, it's like, well, like, how do I get paid, or how do we make this profitable? It's like we can. But right now it's a lot, it's a lot of like back end stuff you really got, and you got to be personable. You can't just be like this cool guy or this tough cool guy, right? And like try to like make people like you. It's like you got to just be normal.
It is really hard because I personally, I find myself forcing people to ride, which is
it's very common.
Defeats the purpose a little bit, and sometimes my wife helps me to realize what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I'm organizing a ride, and if nobody wants to come, I get offended and I get pissed, and I try and force them to come. And yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose because you're trying to
tag team, because I get the same kind of like issues. It's not so much because I don't do so much more rides anymore, or open rides. It's more of like friends, and it's like I'll put a massive text out.
So when you wake up a Sunday morning, and you're not organizing a ride, who do you ride with usually?
Who do I ride with? I mean, it's all in like waves, like people come through and they want to meet people. I mean, I have a core group of friends, of course, like you guys. And so there's usually, a dozen of us usually that ride together. But now it's so hard to bring everyone together because kind of, you have life, right? Like, I work Sundays or.
So this is the effort. This is the
COVID-19, motherfucker.
Now, yeah. So there's a few of us that ride together, even, during this time. It's like, and we just keep our distance. Like, I mean, we're not going to be making out.
We're exactly, which is what we were saying last Sunday.
You don't talk to someone 3 feet in front of you.
Oh, and then with the Cenas?
Yeah, we're talking all the time in the Cenas. We're riding together, and then when we stop, we're just far away from each other. And we also stop in not crowded areas. We were riding down PCH last weekend. We saw the Huntington Beach was packed of people, which I don't know why.
People were cruising.
We were just there yesterday. I mean,
cruising.
Yeah, I'm
Bentleys,
from Huntington,
Rolls
so
Royces,
on Saturday
you should go on the beach, and everyone's out there.
Well, in theory, they're closed, the beaches, but these guys, Huntington Beach, Huntington Beach was packed of people.
What the fuck's going on?
So we kept going. We kept going between Huntington and Newport, and that's where we stopped.
Oh, really?
Because there was nobody there, and we stopped on the side of the road. And we hung out there for like 30 minutes talking to each other, far from each other.
Yeah. But, Malibu, Santa Monica, they're not doing that shit. No. I took out a BMW for a test ride, and when I went to stop just to take pictures, within 2 minutes I had a cop. Burp, 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 burp. Move it. He didn't want to get off the car.
I feel like this is like the right time for us to be riding just because, this is the right time for us to be riding just because there's nobody out there, right? I mean, it took me 20 minutes.
And we're lucky enough that LA is not enforcing as much as other countries, other cities, that the policeman is after you.
Yeah.
But question, I have a deal where I work. I'm considered essential. So I leave every day. Now, while you're riding out right now, there's obviously less cars. I mean, there's like 80%, 90% less cars in LA right now. But haven't you noticed those people driving right now are more aggressive?
And faster.
Aren't they fucking aggressive?
Yes.
They're riding faster. There's serious accidents right now. I just heard Burbank released a report saying if you're caught speeding, you're getting a misdemeanor.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because people are fucking racing.
Flying. Well, now they can actually, open it up with their, sports cars and all that stuff.
They do have a 6-lane.
Fuck that. I'm talking about the Toyota Corolla
That's
going
true.
90 miles. Every car can go 100. Let's just get the facts straight.
Yeah.
But they can't even, not the Prius. Priuses can't
It'll
go
get
past.
there. It'll get there. It'll take like a couple
Here's
minutes.
the issue. It'll get there, but it's not safe. I'm not talking about your Prius. I'm talking about certain cars are not made to go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they hit one fucking pothole. We don't have the smoothest roads in the world.
Yeah.
You hit one fucking pothole. But I've noticed that now, every time I go out, there's crazy fucking riders. I mean, you've experienced this, no?
Absolutely. Just coming up here, I'm on a BMW. My normal speed is like 85, 90. And I had this guy in a minivan. I can see him like a quarter mile back. He was just zipping through. And he gets to me, of course. He wanted to just like lay the horn. I was like, dude, there's 2 other lanes that are open. just because you're on the fast lane and I'm on the fast lane, you want me to move over. It's like
to go higher than 90.
to go higher than 90. Like,
What the fuck are you doing?
yeah. So I mean, I get it. It's kind of like it's an open road and you want to.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many
speed.
chances that they have a 6-lane highway for
And
them to
that's
race.
exactly what I'm talking about. It's a fucking minivan, going 85, 90 miles an hour, and they want to go faster and faster.
Yeah.
But when this first happened, I thought it was just me. I was on
No,
Franklin.
I've been seeing it.
I was on Franklin. It's just me and one other car.
Yeah.
I'm fucking right in the street line, and this lady just came I'm talking about maybe 6 inches before knocking me off. She went from the right lane past me to go to the left lane to make a left.
Yeah.
And I was like, bitch, are you fucking kidding? Like, it's only you and me. You
Yeah.
couldn't slow down or put on your blinker. And then I pulled up, obviously, banging on the window. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways,
Rider error right there.
what's that?
That was a potential accident.
That was a potential.
Have you guys gone out like out of the city? Have you ridden like, let's say, we were thinking about going to El Mirage this weekend. Have you been there? The dry
Well,
lake bed?
I'm
haven't
not
met.
because I also don't want to leave, my wife with the kids at home by herself. And
Yeah.
but yeah, probably it will be a great time to do a
But
trip.
if we go and do that, the good thing is when we get back, we can't come home to our wives for 14 days because of quarantine.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a plus for sure. The low end of the trip is that you probably won't have a hotel to sleep at.
Well,
yeah, but that's where
this is when
camping comes.
camping goes.
That's
You should
right.
buy that, camping gear now. And so,
Have you seen those Lone Rider tents they make for the
dude,
BMWs?
I've been scoping that. And yeah, I see your bags. I'm actually
Love them.
pretty envious.
Yeah, we
I wanna
got
get it.
3 sets of three sets
We
of
did
bars.
3 sets of Lone Rider bars,
Bags.
and what else did we do?
The
headlight.
Yeah.
Have you shot with them, or you're just big fans?
No, we shoot with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get like a discount
Nice.
for them.
I
We do
highly
with
recommend it.
we do with a lot of brands.
Yeah.
Showy, the one that we get the biggest.
The helmets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I was talking about with LA Moto is like you build relationships with different companies and you kind of promote them because you believe in their products. It's not so much like, hey, we got to,
And that is exactly what it is. I do not take I usually don't take one text message from anybody saying, hey, you want to represent us, unless I pick the product. And this happens a lot with me. And I always complain about it because I set up my bike the way I like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then because my bike is set up and I paid full price for everything that is on my bike, then everybody around me gets a discount.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, fuck, man, how do I get...
Because they see it on yours,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, how do I get that?"
Yeah, I take pictures of it, and then the brand is like, "Oh, we're open to collaborate if you want," and I'm like, "Fuck, for all my friends, great, everybody gets a discount."
Well, I've been doing that with. So speaking of what I do, I'm in fashion, and I manufacture clothes and all that. I'm not an essential worker, of course, so I'm at home. But
Unless you make masks.
oh,
Unless
you make
there's a
masks.
lot, yeah. So the company I'm working for, Dickies Moto, is making these antibacterial masks. Which, okay, cool. But it's everyone's doing these mask things. But so I know what it takes, like from margins to wholesale. Like that back end, right? You don't just pay retail. And so what I've been doing is kind of doing that program with other influencers that will wear my jackets or my clothes and say, hey, you get a discount code, put this out there on your social media, and whatever we get in, you get a percentage cut. And so that's
like an ambassador program.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just like I was saying, we need to pick the product. For example, Showy helmets, we started with the RF1200, is the one I had.
Yeah.
I tried it. I thought it was amazing. And I called Showy, and one of the guys, actually, Nate, met our contact at Showy, and they started a conversation. It's like, well, initially we all in the crew want Showy's because we were trying the Simpsons, and
No.
They look great for fucking photography, but
they're
functional.
open road. It's
it sounds a lot, and Showy's are
nothing
really,
against
Showy's are really
Simpson,
good.
Nothing.
but
What
They're
do you?
badass
What helmet do you have?
helmets.
You don't have a Showy, right?
No, I have everything. I have I'm wearing a Nex helmet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Adventure.
pretty cool too. And
Yeah,
for pictures,
it's my go-to. It's
I got a leather wrap Nex helmet that
That's
people
sucks.
lose their mind.
Sucks.
is it the
love and hate?
X100?
Oh fuck.
It's
man,
kind of like the cafe racer that has the visor in front.
No. It looks like a regular helmet, just wrapped in
leather wrapped. It was carbon fiber leather wrapped.
Oh, you wrapped it yourself?
No, from Nex.
Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen it. I've actually went to their manufacturing facility in Portugal.
Oh yeah,
Nice. They're out of
3 years
Portugal.
ago. Yeah.
that one that Robert had looked really good when he was wearing his chaps with the butt
With
open
no
butt.
underwear,
Yeah.
no
Nice.
jeans, just
Nice.
chaps.
It looked
Out in
really
the
good.
desert,
out.
super
People
biker.
hate it.
Yeah.
Fucking haters. They hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah,
Haters
correct.
is a
In your
anus.
case, the anus to the anus.
Oh, what?
Anyway,
So right now you're rocking the Nex.
I'm rocking the Nex just because I knew I was like, I just want to get there. It took me like 20 minutes, so or else I would have ridden the Harley and like just cruise on over. But I don't know. I like everything out there. It's again, like, you know, if you want to be an ambassador, you want to collaborate with businesses, it has to work with your, you know, aesthetics, right? Because like I've seen other people try to rock these like brands at them. Like, why the hell would you wear that with that kind of like, you know, you don't wear leather chaps,
Yeah.
but you're being, you know, sponsored by Leather Chaps Company.
it just doesn't seem natural when you see a random brand that nobody has seen. And actually, I take a lot of time to investigate. And if you were, for example, collaborating with a brand that is completely random, I would go in the profile of the brand, see how do they connect to you, and if they don't, I basically lose all the respect for that.
Sorry, it's not for me. But, you know, going to that, like social media influencers, there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do companies know which events or which
What's legit,
websites,
what's not,
yeah,
what works.
Look, I don't actually. Well, you might consider in your case, and I consider it too more like an influencer. In our case, we just create content. 90% of the content we create, nobody sees it because we don't post everything. You know, I create content for a lot of brands, and I just set up in Dropbox a folder, and they use the content. But in Los Pepes is basically just a showcase. It's a portfolio of what we can do.
Oh, nice.
You know, so brands can
I've
see
seen it. It's all over your walls. You know, I love the photos.
Yeah.
It's
it
cool.
is.
Yeah, actually, that's how I found out about you guys. Before I even met you, was just like your photos were really attractive and just very, very, I guess, authentic in a way. Just the photos that you take.
Aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, what it is
pleasing.
every Sunday we ride, and I
first
shoot
of all-
while I'm riding.
Well, your photos, it's like you guys on the bikes, not like you guys buy the bikes. You guys at a cafe, you know, looking cool. Like you guys are actually riding in your photos, which makes a big, huge difference.
And I give, obviously 100% props to Jaime for taking these pictures. This guy does crazy shit. You know, he's ridden on the back of the bike backwards, taking photography pictures. He has it hanging on the side, one-handed, taking pictures, cruise control. Probably not the safest way.
I got a
But,
message yesterday.
I mean, street cred like crazy for the pictures you have taken. And if you're not familiar with these pictures, on Instagram, check out Los Pepes. It's an amazing portfolio.
I actually got a text message yesterday of a guy that asked me, "How do you take your pictures?" And as I was writing it down and describing it, I was like, "Fuck,
it's crazy.
my due date is pretty soon." You know, like,
I remember Colin. He had the Fat Bob.
yeah.
With the old school backrest, you know, the sissy bar, but the tall one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it did not look secure at all. And I got video because I had a GoPro. Jaime is just like hugging that thing, wrapping around, facing, you know, opposite side of the bike, you know, going butts to butts with the rider, taking pictures of us. I mean, those pictures were
With Colin also, who had been
Colin.
riding for about 6 months.
right.
That
With Colin that has been riding for 6
well,
months.
we didn't know by then, but
Guys,
again,
90% rider error. 90% rider error. And just to clarify, not intentional rider error. It's just not knowing.
But anyway, 95% of the pictures I take, and I was describing this to a guy that texted me yesterday, is I get the bike to 65 miles an hour, cruise control, lose both hands, and turn around and shoot this.
What do you shoot? You
Camera?
Yeah.
Sony A7R4.
The alphas. I love
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, I just turn around, and there's multiple pictures of me doing it. And when I see it, I was like, "Fuck! I hope it doesn't go out there because if my family sees it, or
No, it's
Does your family even know you ride a bike?
yeah.
they do, they do."
It's a price you pay for those good photography, you know.
Yeah, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely not doing that." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I understand."
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's a story that maybe how long ago? 4 years ago, we did a shoot for Eagle Rider. And we did the same thing.
Eagle Rider gets around.
Eagle Rider does get around. But so I was on a street glide and I was riding, and my buddy was doing the same thing, butts to butts, reverse cowgirl, shooting my guys.
Reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
Notes, got it.
He was shooting, and we were like in La Paz, like Baja, Mexico, right? You know, so we're like down close to where's that? Cabo. Yeah. So it's kind of, it was a cool little shot, but we were shooting at this like this blind spot corner, right? So we're shooting, and it was very epic, and it was like early in the morning, like sunrise. And I think the third time we shot it, we're turning. 3 big rigs were going the opposite side, going like 60 miles, like fast, like back, you know, go down Mexico there. Fast. There's no law, you know, It's just kind of like
cowboys.
Yeah. So woof, I was the first motorcycle, first big rig comes up. I can feel how fast they're going, and it was huge. And another big rig comes up right behind him. And the third one was going wide. So he was in my lane. So right at the apex of the turn, I saw this third big rig right in front of me, and there was really no reaction. It's either you get hit like a fly and you're on the windshield and you're dead, or you kind of just maneuver just naturally. And that's what I did. I was like maneuvering to the right, trying to get away from it. And like on your right is like this cliff, you know, and it's like you're either splash or you're into the Pacific Ocean.
Splash or splash.
But it was just a weird, you know, situation. I just maneuvered, and my buddy in the back of me going, you know, reverse cowgirl was like, dude, what was that? I'm like, you don't even want to know, because it grazed his right foot or right leg, and he just felt how fast and how close that big rig was. But
fucking so scary.
Yeah, we had an experience like that in Joshua Tree. I was shooting with the GoPro. Actually, I just posted a couple of days ago a video on the Instagram TV that has that shot that I was shooting with the GoPro. I don't put the GoPro on the bike. I carry it in my hand with a stick.
Yeah.
And
I've seen you do that.
So I can shoot laterally. Yeah. And so I'm on the left lane. So it's a two lane. It's a 1 lane each direction road, and I'm on the opposite lane going against the traffic.
Yeah.
But there was nobody in the road.
So you can capture the shot.
Yeah, so I can capture the shot.
This is kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere. And I'm shooting the guys on the right side, and suddenly a guy passed me through the sand from the opposite side.
So from the...
On your left side.
On my left side.
Because you were already on the opposite lane.
Correct.
So the guys are on the right lane going one way. He's on the opposite lane, and this guy goes to the dirt of the left of him, passes him up flying. And it was
flying, I'm talking desert 95 miles an hour.
What was he on?
In a 4x4 truck.
It was like a probably 1990 Toyota, two-door Prius, 1980 Prius.
So it was like a sedan, like a normal car.
No,
it's a pickup truck.
It's a pickup truck,
it's a
but
pickup
like lifted with like
yeah.
desert wheels.
Oh, jeez.
Mad Max, kind of like an old school shitty
so
Mad Max.
I put my camera away, and I take off just to catch him.
And then they passed me. I thought that we were racing. I was like, that's cool.
I pass him. He thinks we're racing, and we're going 125 miles an hour down.
Behind the student. Behind
this guy, and we can't catch him. We keep going until I catch him. He makes a right turn, 90 degrees sliding.
Well, it was a 90-degree turn. So all of a sudden it's a straight road, and then there's a 90-degree turn. So now we're all like, taking that.
Sliding, and I keep going until there's a stop sign, and it's a T, right? So I'm going, and
you hit the dead end.
I get the dead end, and he goes out of the road, start doing donut, and head back in the same direction that we were going.
Towards us. So he's in front of us. Shit. He gets to the T, so there's no road to go straight. He goes straight, onto the sand. He fucking does like 3, donuts. Like, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, cool, man. Let's go. I have no idea what's going on.
Robert doesn't know what's going on.
Except that we went over 100 and we're all doing it together.
Which is good.
But he was actually, you were like,
I was pissed. I was going to say, what the fuck
Right
is your
error.
problem?
Yeah, right.
Without even thinking it, because the guy in the desert, he might have a shotgun, and I'm like, game over, right? But I didn't get that close.
But then he turned around and then he goes the opposite way. And then I was like, oh, that was cool, guys. And then when we get off, hey, did you see that fucking asshole? I'm like, what happened? I thought we were like all...
Yeah,
well, we have all this in video.
Yeah, and then I have it on my GoPro.
Oh, man, I want to see that.
So it's crazy.
No, we'll definitely post that up. We got to post it up now.
So anyway, what's the next steps for your Los Angeles model, your personal stuff? You also like do wholesale for brands, right?
Yes. So I have my own company, like a leather jacket company, and then also I work for a couple brands as their marketing director as well. So I find content to do with magazines to photo shoots to space ads and all that stuff. But I guess what's next? I don't know. We're kind of in this like weird furlough of like nothing to do just until this virus goes away. I mean, I wanted to do more rides, so we were actually creating a new camp out with another company or another brand that we're gonna collaborate with, and we were gonna.
Which brand?
Huh?
Which brand?
I guess I can't say just because it's kind of a top secret, but we're kind of doing that, and it was supposed to be big and promoted and all that stuff, but I don't know. I mean, we had a lot of events lined up, and now it's kind of been canceled. So I've been traveling a lot until up to March, and now I'm just twiddling my thumb. I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. Like,
yeah, and when you say us, at the end of the day, you say it's a solo mission, basically, right?
it's pretty much, it's me and a few other guys that shoot and create video for me. Content. Yeah, so I mean, I guess in next 10 years or what, almost 2 years.
Yeah, in 2 years.
Yeah, in 2 years, where I want to be, I don't know, man. I actually want to.
It's a big. I mean, it's the time to think about that is right now.
I know.
And I strongly recommend. You said your website will be fully up and running by June.
Yeah, I mean, it's up.
I strongly recommend get that going now because people are at home stuck, and this is the time to get your social media presence going.
I know. I should do a podcast. Competing podcast.
Why not?
I don't think so, man. I think you should join us. You should join
just talk
us.
to myself and just come up with random topics. I mean, I don't know. I think it's.
Or you could just come here anytime.
Just come here anytime. Just be just talk.
And we'll talk with more people.
Well, it's funny because my brother he's kind of the same thing in baseball, right? So he's just started a podcast and he's doing these same thing. So he doesn't ride anything or doesn't like motorcycles, but our family's big into baseball. Like we grew up, we all played and all that stuff. So he's like the youngest brother. So he just kind of picked it up. So he's doing podcasts right now, which is cool. And that's what I've been doing. Actually, what I was listening to one of your episodes yesterday, just because I want to make sure, what do I talk about?
It's just
how do I act? Yeah,
unless it's a specific topic like we did with
or a specialty or something.
With
what is
Matt
so?
Lando.
What episode would this be? What's our special topic?
Oh, we're talking about motorcycles.
We're chatting
this is a
about
casual conversation,
and also about
motorcycle.
your business, because I think people see the Los Angeles moto and they don't see the person behind it. And we kind of want to.
And it's your experience.
And I did that on purpose because I don't want to be the face of it. I feel like everybody wants to do that, wants to be in the limelight and
why not? Everybody wants to be the face of it. Why don't you want to be the face of it?
Well, it's the same with Los Pepes. I barely ever saw the pictures.
Sometimes you want to just walk away from it
but
and
I
do
know
other things.
Well, I know. Robert just made a gesture just because I'm fat.
Because he's super fat.
I wasn't all. I was
300.
I wasn't. Fuck you, man. I wasn't always like that. but I've never been. I've never been in the front of it. No, I've been thin.
You know what I've been doing now is push-ups. Those.
Sure, I know what you're talking about.
I feel like
burpees.
Yeah, no, those push-up, nominations. Yeah, challenges on Instagram. So I feel like I'm at home doing these challenges. I feel like I'm in prison. Just all I'm doing is push-ups and
I think my problem comes
pull-ups.
My problem comes through my mouth. I think.
I do that
I eat
too.
Way too
it's
much.
like I do push-ups and pull-ups, and then I eat like Burger
Shit.
Kings and just crap.
No, it's not that much what I eat for lunch,
It's
breakfast,
just the
and
habit of eating.
no. For me, it's the desserts. I eat dessert after
you have a
breakfast.
sweet
Sugars and sweets.
Oh, way too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Well,
fa-
you're Spanish, so you have that.
Yeah,
You're
pan
European,
dulce.
you know. Because I travel. Like I go to France and it's like, my friends
Pastry.
there.
Pastry
The
is
first
allowed.
thing they do is like coffee and chocolate.
Right.
Chocolate-
right.
And then,
Chocolate is
and then
big time
baguette
for me, yeah.
and butter. I'm like, that's breakfast. Like,
Yeah, a good friend of
Yeah.
mine, Aaron Scobie from Monterey. He would always order dessert before
First.
me, and he wasn't even European. He was born in Fresno, and I would be like, why the fuck do you order dessert before lunch or whatever the case is?
Just in case I'm not hungry after.
No, he says, because you never know what can happen. I'm like, what? At that moment, I was like, okay, and now I'm like, what do you mean?
it's a very dark perspective, of
But
like
in
eating
Europe,
food.
I hear they do that as well, and part of the reason they do that is because you won't eat as much of your regular food when it comes.
Yeah,
That's when
it
you're-
used to be known to be in France, for example, the fruit
Yeah.
first and then your meal.
That's why your mom says don't spoil your appetite and like eat a bag of cookies or something because you're gonna have a meal. Do you ever hear that?
Yeah, no, of course. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, don't eat. I'm
Yeah,
making
but-
dinner.
Yeah.
No, but I do that. Salty comes first, and then I just don't forgive ever the dessert.
Yeah.
One of my favorite posts that I saw was somebody's refrigerator, and it had a sign. They printed their own sign, and it says, "Close the door. You're bored. You're not hungry."
Nice.
Because that's what everybody's doing with this quarantine right now.
I mean, yeah, like now, like, my girlfriend and I were missing like dinners, like going out and going to dinner, It's like, is that ever going to happen again? It's like,
It's so fucking wild.
it's weird.
We still eat out. I mean, we bring the food from outside to the house.
Yeah, I
we
know,
go-
but we're talking
go
about
to our
like,
favorite
we're talking about the
restaurant and
dining
bring the
Getting
experience.
served and
No, we
It's
do-
not the
Yeah.
same. It's not the same.
No,
I
it's not the same.
was in a drive-through lane. I think I was getting coffee, and I was on the bike, and I was just watching the person order their food. And so she gives the card to the guy, and then the guy handles it back. And of course, she's wearing gloves and masks and all that. And so before she takes it in and puts it in her purse, she sprays it with
alcohol.
The
With alcohol.
alcohol. And she was like spraying it and like doing this. And I'm like, man, it's like the whole mentality
But I
of
think right now that's a little bit of exaggeration because we've been told to be in panic. But I think the
Well, of course.
normal case right now will be more the same thing, but a version a little bit more relaxed of all this.
well, that's I think that's my case is like, you go out now and it's I don't even know what date it is. It's Wednesday. Is it March
Wednesday.
Right now is Wednesday the
March.
15th.
or eight?
Yeah.
No, it's
April
April.
15th.
Oh, April.
Oh, wow.
Shit. April, wait, it's
What
April.
year?
What year?
What year?
Holy shit. Yeah, that's
2022.
right.
It's April 15th. It's tax
You sounded
day.
so convincing. I know that. No, they extended tax day till June.
It's my
I know, but
birthday.
it's
It's my
tax day.
son's birthday. Yeah, I should know that.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Talking to a
Yeah,
bunch of
talking to you,
nobodies.
man. I
yeah?
thought this was gonna be better.
Oh,
But yeah. So it's this time. It's like, what are we doing? Are we gonna go back to normal? I feel like more and more now, people are like, because I look around and none of us are wearing masks, and we're talking. We're talking to each other. Either
He's
though we're
lying.
6 feet away
I'm
from each
wearing-
other.
he's lying. We're in 3 different
I'm
rooms.
wearing
We're
my
in-
bandana right now.
You're actually in Spain right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're in the Philippines.
I'm in
and
the Philippines.
Cuba.
I'm in. Yeah. Are
Weird.
you Cuban?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was in Cuba.
My parents
2
are
years ago.
Cuban. I was born in Los Angeles.
There's a big motorcycle gathering in Cuba.
He doesn't know. He's not from
There's a
there.
motorcycle gallery in Cuba?
Yeah. I have my.
Where?
I forgot the beach, but it's a big.
Varadero?
Yes.
I go to Varadero all the
Yeah.
time.
It's like an hour and a half away from
Havana.
yeah.
But yeah.
So that's where I
45
went.
minutes.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I was there
So you were in Cuba?
I was in Cuba for a week,
Yeah.
just for fun. I don't know.
What'd you think?
I loved it. It was like no phones, no technology.
What year?
3 years ago,
So 3 years ago, just for people who are listening, there was no Wi-Fi.
no Wi-Fi.
There's no Facebook. There's no internet really, except for in the hotel, which is shitty.
or
Your phone doesn't work. Or
So when I went there, it was literally right before the embargo. When the United
after
States
the Obama or before the Obama thing? Because Obama opened it up, and
He opened it up at the end.
before
at the end of his
before it
term.
was opened up. So it was
Right.
like I think in January, because I was there in November or October. I can't remember.
15, 16? No,
Yeah,
17. Whatever.
3 years ago. But so 3 months after they opened up the embargo. So, but anyways, I get there, and so I guess the backstory is I was in Mexico City hanging out with my buddies there. So I had kind of like business and all that stuff, and they're also motorcycle guys, and they're big in motorcycle scene. And I was like bored. I was already there for a week, and I had another week. I really didn't have any plans. I'm like, I should go to Cuba, thinking Cuba is like down the street. No,
Right.
it's not. But since
Kind of.
I'm in Mexico, I can fly there and
With no problem,
no
issues,
problem.
passport,
So I
perm-
did that, and my buddy's like, "Yeah, you should go get an Airbnb." I'm like, "Airbnb?" He's like, "Yeah, they opened it up. They have an Airbnb now." So we looked it up, booked my ticket, booked my room, and it was great. It was easy. It was like cost me like probably $400 for flights and the staying there for 6 days.
Very affordable.
But the thing was, you had no Wi-Fi, so you really didn't have anything
Connection with anybody.
connection. And the only place you can get it was at the hotels, which I wasn't staying at, so I had my own place, or at public parks. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, some public parks.
So some public parks, and there's guys there
recently some public parks. So yeah, 3 years makes sense.
they were selling those like little
Prepaid chips.
stuff. So
Yeah,
2
SIM
hours, but you can only use it while you're at a
at
public
the park.
park.
You're right.
So you
And
can't walk around.
Everybody is at the park.
So the funny thing is, like at night, I was bored, and so I needed to like just check my emails, and then like there's like I don't know, like 100 people in the park, like mostly kids, just like sitting there, by the curb, just like
Online.
On
just
Instagram.
Whatever they can.
in their zone. And I'm
no,
like,
no Instagram.
What do
There's
you
still
mean?
no Instagram.
Really?
They just allowed Facebook.
Oh,
yeah, but it was a very surreal moment because I'm like, oh no, like that innocence of like being outside and doing things without your phone. It's infiltrated with these guys, and now you have these kids. Just like it's all completely dark, and you just see the screen, the
screens
light,
lighting
and they're
up
just
people's
like
faces.
zombied out. I'm like, well, there goes Cuba,
Fucked up. Yeah. 60 something years, and that
Yeah.
just went to shit.
But I think now, because I was talking to my buddy that lives there, they don't have the Airbnbs anymore. I think they
Well, they
shut
never
that
had
down.
they never had the Airbnbs. What they were doing was you had people in Miami. They would set up the Airbnb account, and they would go and take pictures, and they would go to Cubans' houses and say, "Hey, I'll take some pictures. If you're cool, I'll rent out one of the rooms." So it was all organized through Miami Cubans.
Yeah.
and then that's how they ended up.
So if they have
renting
like
those out.
family members, they have homes there. They all
Right, but
That's how
but
it worked.
now the Cuban government kind of was like, "Hey, time out! Like you can't make money because the government because it's a communist country and
Yeah.
the government owns those properties." So
I know.
when they found out about that, they shut that down real quick.
Well, you can definitely see, how the government kind of controls everybody.
Everybody.
So
Everybody.
you go to the market. I mean, there's like how we are seeing like all the toilet paper, like all the shelves emptied.
Yeah,
That's how it
it's
was in
always
Cuba.
been for 60 years in Cuba.
And so there's like barely any meats. And like you go to the poultry section, it's like hot dogs, like not like fresh hot dogs. It's like hot dogs in packages,
Right.
And like maybe one piece of chicken there. And then you go to the liquor section. It's just like fully cased, of like liquor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's very limited items what they have,
Yeah.
and whatever people buy, that's all they can take.
I mean, yeah, my takeaways from there and like my visit there was like people were amazing. People were just nice.
Most
like
honest people in the world.
I was in like deep into like old Havana, right? Because first my buddy from New York gave me this like cheat sheet because I didn't know anything about Cuba. Like, where do you go? Like, how do you Google it? And so he's like, I've been there. This is a cheat sheet that I got from another
Abuelita en
friend.
medio,
Where to
Plaza.
go, where like the non-tourists will go. So the first thing I want to do is go to this like really nice music,
One of these
club.
social club or which one?
I don't know, but it was like deep into old Havana, like where it's just like dark and like very mysterious, and there's but the cab would stop at this building, and there was like you couldn't hear anything. So you have to like go in there, go into the little corners, and then there's like this full of normal Cubans, you know, like locals, and just dancing and drinking and all that. I'm like, man, I'm in a good place. So that's what I did. Instead of doing like these like touristy things, you know, they actually have one of those like hop on, hop off buses there too.
Yeah, the red.
Did you
buses.
ride at all when you were there?
No, I couldn't.
It's hard to get a motorcycle.
Yeah, I couldn't
there.
find a motorcycle there.
I found one, and the guy didn't commit to it, and I was kind of frightened because it was the suicide shifters. Nice. You know, where you have it on the front.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure I can do it, but a part of me was like, I don't know, I didn't push it enough, so I never got it.
Yeah.
But that's always been two dreams that I've always had: is a skydive over Cuba, and ride a motorcycle through all of Cuba.
Yeah.
But bro, we did an hour and 30 minutes.
Just like that. Huh?
Just like that, man. It was a great conversation. Please let everybody know where we can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Los Angeles Moto is the Instagram handle. And for the website, it's losangelesmoto.org, which is, it's up and running right now. So
that's fucking awesome.
Thank you so much for coming, man.
And you'll be updating the website and making it look better and better, right?
Yeah. So we're going to be doing more events as soon as, you know, the ban of isolating yourself is lifted. We want to do more events. Hey, maybe do events with you guys, do some rides.
Yep.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be collaborating.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it for this episode. Thank you so very much for listening. If you liked it, please make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, on everywhere. Wherever you're listening to this, there's a subscribe button. Please click on it. It helps the podcast. It helps the guest. It helps all of us. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at Ride Boundless to see amazing pictures and contents and videos of the people we are speaking to. Until then, see you next week. Ride safe, ride hard, ride boundless.